Now, finally, we're going to have 2-minute closing statements. Now, Dan started right. So, Dinesh, if you'd like to make your 2-minute closing statement first.
There are really two possibilities. Either we are Darwinian primates, and that is all we are, or we are primates who are, you might say, in some sense, primates with a soul. Primates who have access to some transcendent source of morality, and perhaps some transcendent source for our very existence. If we are Darwinian primates, I would submit this makes no sense of our everyday experience. For example, evolution would have programmed us to survive. It would not really have programmed us to understand the rotation of the planets. I don't imagine our antediluvian ancestors having to work that one out. We would have no reason to believe science is even true. We believe it's true because we believe our rationality is capable of apprehending the world. There's no Darwinian reason to think it is. Additionally, morality would make no sense. Dan Barker's core presupposition is we should try to avoid doing other people harm. Which other creature respects that law? There is none. Creatures routinely violate it. They kill each other. Look, if in the ape kingdom, if somebody walked into a house, grabbed a mate, subdued the other mate with blows, and dragged, if you will, the female of the species to his own camp to forcibly have sex with her, this is what we call the nature channel. We're not outraged about it. It's normal. That's nature. On the other hand, if Dan were to walk into my house, subdue me with blows, grab my wife, rape her, we would all be universally outraged. We would say that that is flat out wrong. By the way, not just wrong for him, wrong in general. Now, this morality is as real as any fact in the world. We are more sure about it than we are sure that external world exists. We are more sure of it than we are certain that we even lived yesterday, something that's harder to prove. This is a moral fact of the world. And I'm simply saying that, so you want proofs of God? There's one that is sitting within your head. And I want to answer this point about competing instincts. I'm walking on the riverbank. Yes, I have a survival instinct that says go on. Maybe I have a compassion instinct that says there's a fellow Homo sapiens. Maybe I should be careful for their welfare. But C.S. Lewis says there's a third instinct that jumps in that says, in effect, listen to instinct number 2, not to instinct number 1 that should by all account be stronger. We heard a rather macabre Machiavellian calculus by Dan about how, yeah, if it makes sense for me. I leave you with this thought. Mother Teresa on the streets of India was found by an Indian guy, and she was hugging a leper. And the Indian guy makes the rational point. He goes, I wouldn't do that for all the money in the world. And Mother Teresa said, you know what? I wouldn't either. I'm doing it for the love of Christ. In other words, it is this belief in transcendence that imbues in us a sense of our sacredness as human beings, the sacredness of others, even those who don't agree with us. Ultimately, what Christianity calls agape, which is to say unselfishness, caritas. This is something that would never exist in a Darwinian universe. It would be it would certainly be a bleaker place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. D'Souza.
Thank you all. This is really enjoyable. When Jesus talked about rendering unto Caesar, you got it wrong. This is not a call to secularism. These were two competing dictators. Caesar and God were both dictators. The people were not involved in a secular society. In America, we kicked out the dictator, the master, the Lord. We are a proudly rebellious nation. We say to Caesar and to God, render unto we the people the things that belong to we the people. I have an Indian story too. I'm an American Indian. My dad's a Delaware Indian from the Delaware River, and I'm a member of the tribe. And you know very well that before the European colonists got here, some of the native tribes were practicing a form of representative democracy long before the Europeans came over here with a gun in one hand and a Bible in the other. It did not stem from Christianity. Yes, we atheists do want religion out of the public square, but not out of the public sphere. If we call the public square the property that is owned by the public, the Capitol buildings and the principal's office, then the religion should be out of that, but not out of public discourse, not out of our public life as in the public sphere where we are all talking. I welcome you in the public sphere. I'm not trying to kick you out because you might be right and I might be wrong. We are not obnoxious and authoritarian about it. We invite discourse with other people. The universe, by the way, is not a thing. You're equivocating again. The universe, by definition, is all there is, or we could call it the cosmos. A thing is something in space-time. The universe cannot be called a thing. You're making a mistake of jumping up a logical sphere. When atheists and agnostics do good works, it's not for the love of Christ. That cheapens morality, to do it for the love of Christ. Goodness. We think we should be good for goodness sake. We are doing good for the love of humanity, which is a more authentic, a more relevant, a more real, a more ethical way to live our lives. Not because of the love of some dictator who needs his fragile vanity shored up with our praise to tell him how great he is. He's an inept parent if that's how he needs to get through his life. We think we should be good for goodness sake. Thank you all for coming. This was very enjoyable.
Thank you both very much for coming.
Thank you guys.